Well, I am an admirer of Elisa's. Elisa has even worked for me, and the fact is that she is talented.
What's it called? Kermit and Friends?
Kermit and Friends.
Kermit. But if Kermit...
You're saying
like
not to
frog?
do...
Yeah,
wait.
I actually have watched a few hours of the Kermit and Friends.
How many hours have you watched, Natalie?
Oh, no. Probably indulged in 8 hours.
Holy...
My wife and I watched Benji's ex-girlfriends or whatever's going on. We watched this crazy podcast, and I have to say, this is one of the, probably in the top 5 things I think about right now.
She has a podcast, but she gets to come on the radio. It is craziness upon craziness.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Kermit and Friends. I am Elisa. This is Fozzie, and Kermit is watching us from heaven. Kermit, thank you for loving me. I hope I was good to you. You have my heart forever. You inspire me in everything I do, Kermit. That was my dog, Kermit. She's still in my heart. I lost her at the end of April this year. It's been the worst year of my life, and I'm just trying to find some happiness. So that's why I started up Kermit and Friends. So I could spend time with people and just not be so lonely. That's pretty much what it comes down to. And I will not be lonely today because we have 3 guests, 3 spectacular guests. One's a famous comedian, Andy Dick. He's our first guest. Then we have Niall Henson, one of the originators of MTV, Nickelodeon, and the Country Music Channel. And then we have Lizzie, my new friend, who I'm so excited about. She's amazing. She's an art collector. I know her through William Quigley, and she's here to empower women, which I think is very important. And speaking of women, I want to say hello to my co-host, Sugar. Sugar, a packed show we have today.
I'm so excited. I can't believe this.
I know.
Amazing. Kermit and Friends for the win.
Yeah, exactly. Kermit and Friends for the win. I have an amazing cartoon of you, Sugar, that I want to play for everybody. This is a topic that we were going over last week. We were talking about the kind of men we like to date. You and I are very specific with men, I think. You know, I like to date someone that's extremely nice and will do whatever I say. And what do you like again?
I'm a paradox. I like really strong, successful, independent men, but then I get tired of that. So I sort of vacillate. And I found myself saying something that sounded like I thought that men that abused women were alpha, and it sounded stupid when I played it back. And that couldn't be further from the truth. An alpha male is protective. An alpha male is strong. An alpha male will never hit a woman. If you are a man who is abusing a woman, you are not alpha, you are not beta, you're not even human.
Exactly. And here's
that really clear, because I said something that sounded dumb when I heard it back. Because we're talking about the cuff, and sometimes you don't say exactly what you mean. And I hear it back and I go, ugh.
I know, that's the thing. I think maybe we shouldn't watch the shows back. I watch them back because I like to see the comments of the fans. And I just want to say, if you're named Allison, if you're my sister, if you're named Trumpster Bob or Corey or somebody that's a regular on this show, be patient because we're fully booked backstage right now, which is like good and bad. It's good because the show's getting popular. It's bad because sometimes people can't get on. But really quick, I want to play this clip of Sugar, which I absolutely love. Here's the cartoon version of Sugar talking about men.
It's the paradox of the female mind. You see this a lot where we say, oh, I want a nice guy who calls when he says he's going to and doesn't look at other women. And then we get that guy and then we get bored and we want the excitement and the danger of the dangerous guy, of the alpha.
Okay, so that was Sugar. So now I'm going to introduce our first guest. His name originally was Andrew Rowan Dick, born Andrew Tomlinson. He's an American comedian, actor, musician, television, and film producer. He's best known as a comic, okay? He's also known for other eccentric behavior that maybe we'll go into later. His first regular television role was on the short-lived but influential Ben Stiller show. In the mid-90s, he had a long-running stint on NBC's News Radio and was a supporting character on Less Than Perfect. He had his own program called The Andy Dick Show. Everybody welcome Andy Dick.
Hey.
Hey, Andy. Welcome to Kermit and Friends.
Hi.
Hi.
Your show.
Hey.
Before you get into your blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So you're just reading Wikipedia, and Wikipedia is completely wrong. I've never gone in there and changed it. I was never Andy Tomlinson. That's the name of my biological mom, who I've met when I was 4. I mean, my Wikipedia page is longer than Tom Cruise's. FY motherfucking I. But it's also wrong, starting from the first sentence. Tomlinson, like I said, was my biological mom, who I found when I was 40. I found her. That was her. My biological dad's name was Ronnie Morgan. I found out their relationship was a one-time thing when she was 16. I'm not going to say I'm the product of rape, but, well, I just did, didn't I? And then the other thing is I wasn't a supporting character on Less Than Perfect. I was one of the leads also. Let's see, what else did you get wrong? You just read Wikipedia, and don't do that. I mean, talk to me. Talk to me. I know you.
I'm sorry. I'm really sorry, Andy.
You look bad because now you act like you know me, and then you just read Wikipedia, which is completely wrong on every level. And I don't know how to fix it, or do I care? No! I don't. Is this going well so far?
It's going great. I just love you on the show, Andy. I knew you'd be good. And the way we met is actually from a reoccurring character on the show named William.
Stop. That's another thing you said. Best known as the comedian. No, I'm not. I'm not a comedian. I'm what I call a provocateur. I go on stage and I move people. I'm like now, like people are probably getting upset, and good. That's my job. My job ain't to be up on stage, tell a joke, my laugh, set up, punchline, set up, punchline. I don't do that. I go on stage and I twist people's minds. You know, I plant people in the audience. I do more of an Andy Kaufman performance art thing, but and that's not what I'm best known for. You know, people. I do my shows secretly and real quick, and they're up and they're out. And but I started doing them. That's how I got the Ben Stiller show, which was the first show. Which also, by the way, you left out all the good stuff that it won an Emmy. You know, my first show 30 years ago.
Wow.
But look at all my vitamins, by the way.
Wow, you are so healthy, Andy. I heard that recently about you. I heard that you actually stop drinking, stop doing drugs. You're very healthy now. You take vitamins. Tell us more about that.
Well, I just bought this one. This is going to sound like this stuff is so good. It's hard to find. It's called Qualia. I do not I mean, I'm doing this so that maybe they see that I'm doing it and they give it to me because this fucking shit, like this is $60, this bottle here.
Expensive. It's very, what does that do for you?
And this is a small version of one of them called Mind. And it's just, it's like nootropics. This one costs also about $50, and you're supposed to take 7 upon waking up. I'm like, are you kidding me? I counted them. There's only 20 in there. That's not even 3 full days. I have to go get another bottle just to complete the 7, 7, and 7. I'm just kidding. But there's very few. There's only. Well, wait a minute. 35 capsules. That's 7 times 5, right? Okay, yeah. So that's like 5 servings.
Wow.
Can you even read that? Oh, yeah.
I can't read.
No, I'm saying was it backwards?
Yeah, I think people are impressed right now. They're watching you. They see how healthy you've gotten. Was there a breaking point that you had in your life that made you change, that made you want to be healthy again?
Which one? Oh, look what I have. I always wanted a My Pillow, and I found out to buy one, and then it was stolen. Everything of mine gets stolen. If I put something in here that's worth any kind of money, it's gone. In the last few months, my wallet was stolen, my phone was stolen, my laptop was stolen, my nice Bose speaker was stolen. All the shit was stolen. Oh, that art in the background, by the way, I'd like to point out that it's a guy named Eric, and I'm turning my living room as we speak. I'll go on and show it to you into an art gallery, like a by appointment only art gallery. Like come in and there'll be art all over the wall. So let me just show you real quick. But I found a My Pillow. I bought it. I took it home, and it was this tiny little the travel My Pillow. God, it sounds like I'm doing commercials. I'm really not. I don't get it.
But Andy, I'm very concerned that you had a pillow that was stolen. How does a pillow that's on your bed in your home?
My kids.
Oh, your kids stole the pillow.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
And I've got 5.
You have 5 My Pillows? That's amazing.
No, 5 kids.
Oh, you have 5 kids?
Yeah,
you have 5 children?
3 of them are mine and 2 stepkids.
Are you married? Are you single? Are you divorced? What's your situation dating?
Oh, good. I'm glad you're not consulting with Wikipedia. Oh, you know what? I should start my own. I should call it Dickopedia.
That'd be perfect.
Yeah. But I have 3 of my kids with 2 different baby mamas, as I say, and then 2 stepdaughters. So I have 1 daughter and 2 sons, and they're 23, my daughter, 25, my son, and then 33 is my oldest son. You know, I just turned 55 on December 1st.
You're looking really good, Andy. You're looking really, really good. Amazing.
It's the law. That was the thing they used to try when they changed the speed limit to 55 in the 70s.
Yeah.
They had billboards everywhere that would say 55. It's not just a good idea. It's the law. And it's so funny. And now I can say that. I go, oh, there's a new law in town. Sheriff Dick's in town. 55. It ain't just a good idea. It's Dickie's law. So anyways, how are you? I haven't seen you in a while.
I know. The last time I saw you, you were on a date with my neighbor, Brandon.
I was?
Yes.
Where is he?
He's supposed to be here right now. So if your name is Brandon and you're my neighbor and you're supposed to be on the show, come on now. So what was that?
We were on a date. Where did we go?
Well, okay. So you and Brandon were on a date. You went to this place called Rocco's in West Hollywood. Okay.
Oh, we really went on a date?
Yes, yes.
That's great.
Yeah, you and Brandon. And Brandon's my neighbor. He lives upstairs. He's a regular on this show. Because you're so popular, I actually can't get him in right now because people want to ask you questions. Do you mind?
Oh, I love it. And open book, and I always have been. That's why I should go in there and change that Wikipedia fucking shit. Am I allowed?
I can help you. I can help you with that. I'm actually good at that. Okay, so let's take questions. What was that, Andy?
Am I allowed to swear? See, I told you Gonna go glitch.
That's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect, Andy. I just want you to have fun. Okay, so let's take a question from your fan. Let's start with Darren the pharmacist. Darren the pharmacist, you're on with Andy Dick. You can ask him whatever you want.
Darren, before you talk, do you hear her voice when it does that? You hear it like I hear it?
Yeah, it's kind of like water.
Yeah, just so you know, every once in a while, you're talking like I'm talking now, and then all of a sudden it'll go.
So, Andy, you say you don't consider yourself a comedian, exactly, right?
No, exactly. So, what kind of pills do you know? I don't take pills. Never have.
Yeah, well, there are benefits to taking medications, and you can also get addicted to them. You know, opioids, things like that.
You seem like a happy guy. Do you ever have the urge to, you're counting them with that metal thing? 1, 2. You have an urge just to pop one into your pocket or on the floor?
No, there are laws against that, Andy.
Of course.
But I have tried to do stand-up, though.
There's laws against that, too, my friend.
Well, there are laws against pharmacists and stand-up.
Do you take any pills?
I do. I have bipolar disease.
What is it called? You're bipolar?
Yep.
Wow. I've had like about 30 different therapists, and one of them said, one of my favorite ones, the smartest one, said, you are not bipolar, but I would have a very hard time arguing that fact to my colleagues.
Yeah. One quick question, Andy.
Yeah.
What do you think helped you break into the entertainment industry?
Great question.
That is a good question. You really? Oh, he's out.
Yeah.
Damn it! I had some questions for him. So, okay. But I was wondering if he's trying to do that. Which, by the way, if you're still listening, and I hope you are.
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, there you are. Any the fuck time you can jump in and join the stream of whitewater fucking entertainment people like you. Did you know Jack Nicholson didn't even do his first movie until he was 32? So like at any moment you can jump in. You can jump in now. They need people of your ilk, of your age. You look great. You're funny. You've got a great voice. You have everything they need, and they need that. So you can jump in. And the way I did it, and there's a million, infinite actually, ways to jump in. And what I did is I just performed live, doing what I was talking about earlier, that weird provocateur, like performance art, weird crap where you can't, it's like, what did I just watch? They're either laughing, crying, sometimes they scream. They've called the police on some of my weird things I've done. And, I've got arrested for things that were a fucking joke. I was joking, but I've learned my lesson. Like I really have. I kind of curb myself a lot now, and I what is really tripping me out and upsetting me is COVID. Nobody can perform. But between me and you and everyone listening, we have been doing these weird little secret shows and we're starting this thing. My second baby mama, is doing something called like a Sunday salon, and she's going to do it in the living room. Did you see the living room, by the way, when I took you out there?
I loved it. Well, you have a great living room.
Yeah, but did you see the mess? Today is the day I'm going to pack that.
Oh, Andy, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I'm getting a call. Kermit and Friends.
Oh, crikey. This is bad, Corey. I am gay. This is bad, Corey.
Wendy. I know this is you, Wendy. Do you have a question for Andy?
I had to do it, Lisa. I had to do it.
It's okay. It's okay, Wendy. Okay, what's your question for Andy Dick?
Hey, Andy.
Yeah. Yes.
Andy, my question is, what kind of girls do you like to get into if they're not a girl you don't like to date?
You know what kind of girl am I attracted to?
I think that's what she's asking. Wendy, come on camera. That was Wendy, the slow adult from the Howard Stern show. She's like amazing. She's an incredible woman. I think what she was asking you was
pharmacist. She needs a little something.
No, she's doing great. She found the guy named Corey through the show. They're dating now. So that was Wendy. She was asking you what kind of women you like. I'm curious about that too, because you went on a date with my friend Brandon, who's like a hunk. And then you've had 2 wives.
Hook me up with him again. What's your problem?
I'm trying to. He can't get in. You're just too popular. Unfortunately, people can't get in the show.
It could happen.
I will. I'm going to try my best. Okay, so can you answer Wendy?
Yeah.
Her question about what you're looking for in a mate or in a date or somebody that you want to be with?
Yeah. Well, I'm not looking, by the way. I've been enjoying my time alone. And I shouldn't even, that was a lie. I'm not always enjoying it. Sometimes only, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get a parakeet. I'm going to get a fucking parakeet. I've always had parakeets my whole life. They become my best friend. I'm that kind of, that like weird guy on like the Venice boardwalk that has a bird on his shoulder walking around. Like, why isn't that bird flying away? Because it loves me. That's why. You don't love me. The bird loves me.
Yeah, I would trust a bird definitely more than a guy that I would date.
Yeah, but when it comes to girls, by the way, lately I've been very into girl. I don't know what my deal is. Obviously, it's some kind of mental glitch. That they did a brain scan. I have a podcast too. It hasn't come out yet. And every episode is a new therapist or spiritual leader or doctor or a nutritionist. A different one every time, trying to help me and figure out what's wrong. And one of them is this very famous guy, Dr. Amen. I don't know how to spell it. And he gave me this whole regime. He gave me a regime of, there it is. Maybe it's on this. Let's see. Is his name here? Brain MD, whatever. And he did a brain scan on me.
Uh-huh.
And then I'm like, I was telling everybody, it's gonna be fine. Don't worry about it. And then this looks like hell back here. And then they did the scan, came back, and I said, okay, and it was good, right? Everything's good. He went, no. There were golf. I don't know why I'm laughing. It's horrible, but there were golf ball size holes in my brain. Boom, 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 boom. And he said, and I'm like, what? What do you mean hole? Like there's just parts that are just, I guess, dead in nerve-wise or something like that. I'm like, oh my God, am I dying? Is this bad? Am I? Can I say the word retarded? What's the proper word? That's another thing. These words, you can't say this, you can't say that.
Gary, you can get
never know.
Andy.
What?
You can get canceled, and I hate that.
Right. Well, anyways, I said, what is it? He went, well, it's probably a combo of the drugs and alcohol and getting concussed, because I was concussed multiple times. And then he said, I have NFL football players that had it worse than you, and holes like me. But they did this program, which I'm on fully. I'm doing it religiously, speaking of religious, I'm going to church at 1:00 today.
You are? Which church are you going to?
It's a Baptist church. It's right down the block. A good friend of mine is taking me, and I like church.
Me too. I love church.
Yeah, I like
the best part of my life.
Yeah, and the thing about God and prayer and all that stuff is, you don't have to believe in God. You don't have to believe in prayer. At the very, very least, prayer is just like positive thinking. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, a lot of the religions, they seem to be similar, but I enjoy learning about all of them. I've loved going to the West Side Church. There's so many supportive people there, and it's just a place you can go where you can feel loved and cared about. So that's what I like about it.
Oh, are you in LA?
Yeah, I'm on Wilshire. I'm just mid-Wilshire here.
That's where I am. That's why I was, now I remember. And that's why I wanted to come in live with you so I could see you.
Yeah, maybe we'll do that another time.
My head like this, because I have what's called progressive lenses. So like this, you're blurry. I can't see you. But when I go like this, the bottom is, they're called bifocals, but they call them progressive lenses now because they don't want, you know, I'm 55. Where's my walker? Did I scare that guy off? That's the weird thing.
Oh.
You cannot talk about religion or politics. And I'm neutral when it comes to all of it. And that's what I was saying about, like, I don't care what church. I'll go to a synagogue. I don't care about you go into a happy place and it's all positive and everybody's happy, and that affects your brain and it helps fill those damn holes. But anyways, NFL players have more holes than me. They get on whatever his name is program, and I'll figure it out. And they get better. They heal. Those holes like go away somehow.
Yeah, I was very depressed. I found the church at a really good time. I had lost my dog Kermit, and that was horrible for me. Probably the most sad I've been in my life.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I was going through like a breakup with someone that treated me really badly.
Gets me going with drugs and alcohol, a breakup.
Yeah, breakups are so hard because what do you do with that pain? There's nowhere to put the pain.
No, nowhere.
Yeah, so I was going through that at the same time, and I was just miserable in my life. And thank God these people from the Christian church came to me, and they tried to help me, and they would come over my apartment every day and read me scriptures. And I never felt so amazing as when I was so dark and in such a dark place, and then they brought me to the light again, and I felt some hope. And I'm just so grateful to them. So that's kind of why I started this.
Yeah, you're bringing love and hope to everybody. Now, what church did you go to? What was the denomination?
So it was like non-denominational. It was called the West Side Church. It was in Culver City, and I loved it. I was so into it. I would cry when they would speak there. I'd be crying, Andy, and I was wearing a mask, and I had like snot all over the mask, and I had tears, and I was so into it. But then towards the end, it was time for me to be baptized, and they decided that I wasn't ready to be baptized, that I wasn't close enough to Jesus, and they actually declined my baptism.
Oh my God, that sounds unbelievable and not real.
I know. Yeah, so that happened, and once that happened, I was just done with it. I didn't like what they were saying to me. I didn't like the judgment, so I said, I'm going to open my own church. All a church is people assembled. So if you can assemble a bunch of people together, Andy, you can open up your own church.
Dude, that is so weird that you say that because... Sorry, I call you dude. I'm weird like that. Let me put my, I'm gonna do because I know I'm just, like all over the map with this fucking phone, so I'm just gonna put it in my holder. It's wild that you say that because I don't know if you know this about me, but I'm an ordained minister. In fact, where is my?
Really?
Yeah, I have my thing here somewhere. Honestly, I'm like in such transition in this place that everything's out of place, but I have, you know what? Well, anyways, I'm I already married 2 couples.
Really?
Officially and legally. And then just yesterday, this is why it's so fucking weird that you're talking about it. I was walking. I walk now every day. Yesterday I walked an hour and a half. It was 9 miles.
Yeah, you were in Echo Park. I was surprised you were even over there at all.
From Hollywood all the way to the Echo Park Lake.
Yeah, who would choose to go there on purpose?
Well, no, it's gorgeous. And it was
it is.
It was time. And I'm like, what's that? Oh my God, the paddle boat swans were all around with lights all over them. And then I saw this line of about 200 people waiting to get on them. I'm like, I didn't know they did that at night. But anyways, but it was freezing and I wasn't going to walk back. I'm like, I did not know it was going to be an hour and a half. I kept walking going, where is this fucking place? But anyhow, why was I talking about that? Oh, because something about when I was walking there, I walked past one of the fucking Scientology buildings, and it's probably the biggest one in the world. You know the one it's on Sunset
I sure do. I've been there many times, Andy. That's another place that I really liked until they asked me for $7,000. And when I didn't give them $7,000, they said, oh, you spend that on a purse. And I don't do that, first of all. And second of all, how dare you judge me like that? So I was done with them too. There's good aspects of these places, but every single one I've been to has turned me off for one reason or another. And that's why I said, anybody could start this thing. If you feel like you want to bring positivity and happiness to people and you are inspired to do that, why shouldn't you? Why shouldn't you start your own thing and leave out all the aspects that you don't like? Like, I'm not going to ask anybody for money. If they want to donate, they can, but I'm not going to ask them or make them feel bad for not, giving me money. And I'm not going to judge people if they're in a place in their life where they're not ready, to repent. Because I'm ready to repent. I don't like to sin. When I sin, I notice really bad things happen in my life. Every time something horrible has happened to me, it's because I've sinned. Have you ever noticed that?
Yes.
Yes.
I have. I never steal, but lately, if I'm like, I don't think Ralph's will miss this, granola bar or whatever. And then I stopped doing that. I was pocketing little things like, they're not going to miss it. And who cares? COVID. I was kind of using COVID as a reason to just, a couple things. And I stopped because every time I do, I have almost instant karma. Every time I do that, something bad would happen immediately. Is that the pharmacist?
No, so this is our next guest, actually. He's going to ask you a question. His name is Niall Henson. I'm going to read Andy some facts about Niall that I read also on the internet. They're probably wrong, but Niall, you can correct me. So Niall was one of the originators of Nickelodeon, MTV, the country music station. He put on concerts for the Rolling Stones. He's a huge guy in the entertainment industry. Am I right, Niall? Did I read correctly about you?
Yes.
Okay, great. So we have Andy here, and I want to introduce you to, because you create TV shows for like Nickelodeon, MTV. So obviously Andy's a very famous comedian. He doesn't want to be called a comedian, but what did you want to be called, Andy?
Not that I don't want to be called. I'm literally not a comedian.
Oh, you're not a comedian.
Like when I do my, there's music. There's like original music that I write with my guitar players. I have 5 of them, by the way. But
wow.
Well, because they ditch out all the time. Because shows can go terribly south, and they're like,
"Oh, trust me, I know."
I don't feel like going on stage with you again. And I'm like, okay, well, I'll just go to number 2, number 3, number 4, and then they always come back around. Like, I kind of miss it. Can I do a show with you? So, but I have to have 5 because they rotate in and out. But anyways, music, mostly stories about my past. I have maybe 3 jokes, and they're not even good, and I do them all the time. That's why. Have you seen my special, my Netflix special?
I haven't. Have you, Niall?
No, I haven't.
Because I don't have one. Once you do that, fear of me to do them on HBO, this and that. And I always say no, because once you do it, you got to throw it away. And then, you do a new one. Like Dave Chappelle, 10 or 20 specials. They're very prolific. I go to the Comedy Store, or I go to the Improv, or I go to the Laugh Factory, and every once in a while, and then every time I go, they make me get on stage because everybody thinks like, oh, he's a comedian, put him on stage. No, I get on stage, and then they very quickly ask me to get off stage and don't come back. I get 86.
Oh no! So Niall,
I was going to ask Andy a question.
Okay,
since you told me. So first of all, I have watched Andy's career, and he doesn't call himself a comedian, so we'll just call him a dick. With that being said, Andy, we're putting together, like a lot of us, the suits, if you will, in the entertainment industry. We're all trying to move into streaming and determine how that's going to work, like we did in our earlier days into cable. Anyway, with that, my time has been spent on trying to develop, declaring that streaming is a completely different art form than cable or anything else before, simply because there's so much technology that exists on the device here that we want to move into doing a whole lot of different things with it now, including eventually into blockchain and cryptocurrency, where there could be a dick coin. Go ahead.
When you say we, what do you mean? You and who?
Oh, well, my company.
What's that? What's that company?
It's Technotainment Streaming Media Incorporated.
Great, I'm in. If you're asking me,
I did, and let me get to the point that's more about you. Recently,
Andy.
My development team, young people, very very young people, have discovered Don Rickles, and they have.
That's
just,
how you sound, by the way. Hang on one second. That's how you sound, like every 2 minutes.
Hold on, wait, quick. What was that about? That little laugh.
I thought that was funny. You work with Don Rickles.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, Niall.
Wait, you can hear him? I can't hear what he said.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Niall.
Okay, well, you can translate. Anyway, cutting to the chase on a long answer to a short question, or vice versa. And when I was looking at Don Rickles again, of course, I've seen Don Rickles. I was scared to death one time in Vegas, ending up on the front row, that he was going to drag me up on the stage and embarrass me. Anyway, I don't want to draw any analogies necessarily. Like most artists don't want to be compared to anyone else. But in looking at him with new eyes again, do you see any parts of you that has a Don Rickles aspect to it?
I guess very small slivers.
Okay.
That good. He's a true fucking comedian. He's so fucking funny. I can't even believe how quick he is. And you know where I think it comes from? And this is why he's also a good actor. Remember, he was in
absolutely.
He acted with fucking De Niro in that gangster.
Yes.
The Mob or Los.
I know what you mean.
Oh, what was it?
But we'll think of it. But I know what you're talking about. He's been in several movies.
Such a good actor because his stuff comes from an emotional place. That's where I come from. So yeah, in that sense, yes, because I think he's legit angry in real life, and he doesn't hold. That's why he's still alive. He's like 80 something.
No, actually, I believe he died.
He passed away.
Yes.
Andy, did you ever work with him as well?
What?
Did you ever work with him as well?
I can't hear him. It goes.
He was asking if you work with, who are you guys talking about? Don Rickles or?
Yes,
Yeah.
Don Rickles.
Have you been working with him in your past, Andy?
Niles.
Yes, sir.
Does it sound like that to you, or is it just my phone when he?
There's
In
different
times it has cut up, but it's pretty good now.
There's a lot going on right now. In fact,
Yeah.
quickly, the way I got hooked up with Andy here is through you. So what is your relationship with Andy here?
Getting better quickly.
Is that better, Andy?
Let me answer my friend from Nickelodeon. First of all, Elisa, give him my number.
I will.
Give him my number. Yeah, and then no, I never worked with Don Rickles. I wish I had, and I can't believe he died. That must have happened this year.
I'm going to tell one quick story here. I'm going to get your number and call you. And Lisa, it's really a pleasure to be on your show.
I'm so happy to have you. So I just want to tell the audience, Niall here, who has done so much in the industry, who I have so many questions to ask for this Niall guy. He's really succeeded in a very tough industry. I think Andy, even Quig, understand the difficulty that the entertainment industry brings. It is so difficult. And so this guy, Niall, literally started the biggest networks that you've heard of. Everybody watching this has heard of all these networks that Niall has started. And
Started, really? Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah, he started the Country Music Network. I mean, that's impressive. Nickelodeon, MTV, we've all watched these networks. And
How do you know all these people?
John Sykes started MTV. And Stephen Leeds.
Oh, are you saying he's a big fat liar?
No, not John. I know John personally. I mean, I've done work with him.
Yeah. John was very beneficial in the management and launching of MTV. Know him a bit. He worked with he worked with Bob Pittman, who we brought in to run MTV. But that's not the point. Let me just finish up.
That's really cool, Matt. That's really cool.
Well, thank you. It has.
Congratulations, man.
The good stuff hasn't happened yet, and that's where streaming and what we call technotainment, and getting back to Andy, who I think could some great opportunities, and I will call you, or she'll give you my number. Just real short, though, in closing, comedy is very hard to do. But I think in the way with technotainment, as we call it, and being able to incorporate all of these technologies that exist in the smart devices and the infrastructure of the system that now reaches 3.5 billion people. So I was really delighted to see, Andy, that you were on here, because I'm now at the point of the launch of the company. Now content is king, and artists drive content. So I was really thinking about you actually the other day. But let me wrap up with this, and I'll shut up. For a very short while, I was the acting CEO of the National Lampoon. My interest for doing that was not to try to run it, but just to be able to get the rights to the brand and develop mobile content. While I was there for a few months, and I think you all know where that office was on Hollywood Strip there, across from the where John Belushi died.
Chateau Marmont.
There you go. Okay. Anyway, let me just finish with this. So I'm sitting, people would just come in and out the door. I mean, the culture of quote comedians, which I'm going to put you in that general category here, because I think you can make people laugh.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anyway, so I am sitting there one day, and I'm pretty much a suit, and I'm not accustomed to a lot of looseness, except in the rock and roll business. When I would travel with them, I understood that. But in my office, the door was open, and people would just come in and out. And like Kato Kalin would hang out there. I don't know if he's a comedian, but anyway, I'm going to finish with this. So there was a guy standing at the door looking for me to say, "Oh, you can come in and sit down and talk to me." He says, "You don't know who I am, do you?" I said, "I'm sorry, I don't." He said, "I'm the unknown comic." So I didn't recognize him without his hat. Anyway, enough of that. I'll stay out of comedy.
But
Andy,
Niall, what about Kermit and Friends? Are you ditching Kermit and Friends now that you're working with Andy?
Oh, no. We will be, with the digital media now. We expect to have 100 different channels, and you don't really call them channels, in about 6 or 8 different categories.
Okay.
And music and comedy are 2 things that are staples to everything. We're way down the road on our music side, and hope to be making an announcement about that. And yes, being on helping develop MTV and CMT, you can imagine with the team that I have, and everybody's half my age, what we're going to be doing with the technology, with music, and also comedy. So that's a staple. As far as why I'm very interested in you, and I do recall you back being on Howard Stern's show and all of that, but you and I will talk about that later as we have off camera. But I see your role in a sector we have called faith and values, and one of the areas.
Yeah. Woo! Let's do it. Right?
Do you know Angela Santamero, who developed Blue's Clues with you on Nickelodeon? And she
I don't really. That was after my time.
Before your time, it goes along with the faith and values.
Yeah. I will say that Jerry Laybourne, Bob Pittman was brought in to run MTV, did a great job. That was a Warner Communications company then, and American Express was the bank, and then. After getting Nickelodeon off the ground, we brought in Jerry Laybourne, and she took it to the moon. So she would know all those people intimately, because she was about 15 years. But yes, I've been. You have a few fans that are blowing in my ear, as you know, and I see you as a possibility of an anchor on this thing. Now let me just. I'm in the faith and values sector, and having been involved in MTV, CMT, the missing triad there was contemporary Christian. It has the same business model and everything, but it never quite got off the ground. Cable started growing beyond that, but one of our anchor channels, if you will, is going to be contemporary Christian music, because it has no outlet. It never made it to cable, and it's exploding big. And you all know who Amy Grant is, perhaps.
Yes, of course.
And the new Amy Grant is Lauren Daigle. So there's a lot of, and we expect it to be more secular, although we have met with the head of the Baptist church, and everyone is very interested, but we're not a religious service. We're a faith and values. And I think you can help define it for us. And yeah, and again, that
was I didn't even finish my story.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I didn't mean to upstage you.
No.
Wait, Andy, did you ever think you'd be signed to a deal after coming on this show? Did you?
You're talking to me?
Yeah. Did you ever think you would meet a high-powered executive that started MTV, Nickelodeon, the country music channel?
People. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. So I want to get back to fan questions for Andy, but first, I want to introduce Lizzie here.
All right.
So Lizzie is very special.
I'm flanked by two hot girls. This is a
Well,
big sandwich.
I just got out of solitary confinement for 5 days. I'm actually, and the police have confiscated all my belongings, included all my makeup. This was done by a friend of mine in 5 minutes flat. So,
Wait a minute. You got to tell us what the fuck.
It's a crazy story. It's a crazy story. Yeah.
What's going on, Lizzie?
Okay. So
Solitary confinement. That's not
solitary fucking confinement. I'm not joking. So I am the victim of severe narcissistic abuse. And I didn't understand myself what narcissistic abuse was until about 7 or 8 years ago, when it started getting, there was just so much confusion in my life. And I live a storybook life. Like, if you were to hear parts of my story, the truth of the matter is I was strangled. And the DA was investigating the person who was strangling me, and I was brought to the Victims Justice Network at the DA, and they were talking to me, and they were like, it sounds like you were really suffering from some severe narcissistic abuse. And narcissistic abuse.
Then why did they put you in jail?
Well, you'll hear about that in a second. It's because I was trying to file a form with the judge, and the judge's clerk didn't want to take it, so she called the police. It's a long story. I'll get to it succinctly, but I want to really get to the important part of this, which I think will impact, because hopefully not everybody else can relate to being in jail.
But I think, Lizzie, I think some thing that people can relate to about you is being
narcissistic abuse.
Yeah, I think we've all been with someone that's a narcissist.
Yes.
These narcissists.
Now,
What was that, Andy?
With one right now. They're in the other. Fucking.
They're crazy. So let's just talk about what it is first and foremost. So a narcissist is somebody, it's very hard to detect, because they go through a lot of the same motions as a normal relationship, and you'll have this period of love bombing. And love bombing is when they kind of see what you need in your life, and they provide everything that you need. They just are like gun-ho about you. There's just this feeling of oneness with them, almost like that you found a partner that truly understands you and things are good. But then their whole point of the relationship is control. So they want to be able to control you, and they want to do what's called gaslighting. And gaslighting is when they make you question your own reality. So it would be like if I was holding a pink cup and they're saying, oh, you blue cup, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, my cup isn't blue. And they're like, dude, your cup is blue. I mean, it's not that obvious, but it's little things. It's changing history. It's telling stories. And for me, the reason I was in this relationship is my husband, we've been together for 21 years, married for 18, is because I always thought it was because like I was the loud, fun wife, and he was a quiet lawyer, and he was just trying to make himself feel more like a man. So when we would get home behind closed doors, he would be dismissive, abusive, condescending, and then in about 7 years ago, it got really bad. Then he was trying to force psychiatric diagnoses on me. And Andy, this is why I was laughing when you were just talking about bipolar, because bipolar is one of the most misdiagnosed and overly used definitions, especially by narcissists, because who can't relate to being happy sometimes and being sad others, right? And who can't, but that's not the true definition of a psychiatric diagnosis. But these narcissists use this to say, you are discredited. You are not a person that other people should value. You should value the narcissist's opinion of you more than your own opinion of yourself, or other people shouldn't trust. They shouldn't believe what you have to say because, she's got a, mental disorder.
You're describing the person that's in the other room.
Yes.
And me.
I think we're going to find out. See, this is why Andy's not a comedian. He's a performance artist. Look at him. He is like a fucking
I believe him though. But I just want to say something to you guys. Okay, so Quig booked both of you for this show, right? William Quigley.
Yeah.
Love him.
Well, but I don't know how you know him, but he's great. He's like one of my.
Great. It's awesome. He's that guy's a soothsayer. That guy writes shit in his paintings, and 10 years later,
love him.
It comes true. He's like a channeler, like you've never seen. It's scary what he does.
Wow.
So he's very mad at me right now.
Why?
Because this is very upsetting that he's so mad at me. So I was going to put him on after I had Andy and you on, but now he's upset that he had to wait. See, this is the problem. This always happens to me. People get so mad at me because of this show.
That's their ego. That's ego. You got to get rid of ego.
Yeah, his mic was glitching up. I could not hear him. I'm not kidding.
He's really mad at me.
Ask your fans. Can you see them writing or anything? The fans? Ask them to hear that guy.
No, I mean, listen.
Right?
He's playing with you, I'm sure. He's not really mad. He's not.
No, he is mad. He logged off. Listen, he logged off and he's not talking to me right now. So I don't know if you guys remember, but this is what Quigley had said before.
What's your name?
Let me see if I can find it. Here it is. It's a fish. This is the Quig fish.
Baby, what's your name?
Who?
Not you, Alyssa.
Lizzie. Lizzie.
Lizzie. Okay. Could you hear him? Does that thing?
Quigley, I could hear him. But I also don't have headphones in because the police still have my headphones. It's fucking crazy.
Well, you've asked me to get involved with your show, and I considered it. And I think, I think you're pretty brilliant. I think I've known you a long time, at least, and you're so talented. I don't know if everybody knows how talented a singer you are. I mean, you're probably one of the most talented persons I've ever met, which kept me very attracted and interested to you. Attracted on a business level, and also, your looks are, whatever. But you've done tremendous things. You succeed at everything you do. You work really hard. You have all those ingredients for success. So I was like, if I'm going to get involved in this thing, I'm busy as hell. Even taking time to do this show I want to do it, but it's time is money, really. And that's how I look at life now. I don't really have time to sit on a podcast and, help some friend out, by being on it, which maybe you think is good or bad. Because again, remember when I was talking with you back when I knew you about Dispatch, did you ever imagine we'd become this big? I didn't imagine we would get this big. I didn't imagine Red Bull and Grey Goose would get this big. You get a little piece of that pie, and, that's what life's about. I think anybody that works with you should have a little bit, you should think about it, get a good COO and have. So I would talk to Trumpster Bob, and I would bring my, team, my lawyers and my, financial guys in, and they'd look at, I would do it very simply with you. I would say, look, if you go on to succeed, which I think you probably can, and I don't know this business well enough, I'm learning about it. And everybody in Hollywood who collects my art knows I could get them to you right away. I mean, I've sold paintings to guys who own Netflix. They start at Netflix. They own 7 paintings, 12 paintings. Dana Brunetti, all these people that I know all have vested interest in what I'm doing already. So if I get involved in a project like yours, they're going to have immediate interest. Not immediate. They're going to have an ear. They're probably going to act like they don't give me the time of day. This is what smart people do. They pretend they don't give you the time of day. They just kind of look at, they kind of hear you out. They get your email. And hopefully you keep a register of all these things, your conversations, your email's the best because you got proof. Like I was involved with Madonna 2 years ago, and I came up with this concept. We do this concept. She raised $7 million in one night because a girl I was dating kind of forced me to I used to work with Madonna.
So yeah, that was a little clip of Quig, and he's such a great part of the show, but you can't just run off like that, if you're upset. That's the thing. You have to be pretty solid, and I want him to be more solid so he just doesn't get upset with me if things don't go exactly his way. It's very stressful. So anyway, Lizzie,
Yes.
Okay, so you were in solitary confinement for how many days?
5 days.
5 days. What was that like?
It was horrific. And, Andy made a little reference to about COVID and how people are using it opportunistically. And that's what they were saying. Oh, we're not actually putting you in solitary confinement. It's COVID. I was locked in a cell for 23 hours, and I was let out for only 15 minutes one day, at most an hour the other days. My story is this. I am married to a narcissist, and I found out some very unsavory things about him back in May. And when I confronted him with it, he went missing. And then he started the discard phase. So narcissists have different phases. They have the love bombing phase. Then they have this phase where behind the scenes, to everybody else, they're the nicest person in the world. But to the person they're abusing, they try and disparage you, devalue you, dismiss you. It can literally even be things like for your birthday, they'll give you something worthless to make you feel like that you yourself aren't worth their time. Like it's just always, it's called the devaluing gift. But then the discard phase is one of the most dangerous phases of a narcissistic relationship, because these narcissists don't have empathy for other people. They can fake concern, but true empathy is not there. So they will stop at nothing to destroy you. So my husband, since May, now mind you, I've never been in trouble with the law, the jail, cops my entire life. Since May, he had me, and he's a partner at Davis Polk and Wardwell. So he's a very senior litigator, Yale Law School, Davis Polk. I'm telling you, if you met him, you would love him. He's the nicest guy. But for me, he went and got a bogus court order. He had me evicted from my home. He cut off all my finances. He won't let me see my children since June 5th. I've been homeless. I had no financial support whatsoever. All of this is illegal. If he did it on its own, it's illegal. But he did it through a court order, which then I've never been given a trial for. So since June, I've been homeless, had my finances cut off, haven't been able to see my children. And then he just says, if you just tell everybody that you're crazy, or you go into a psych hospital and just say you made that shit up about me, that's true, I'll stop all this. And now I'm smart enough to know when a guy comes up to you in a parking lot, puts a gun to your head and says, get in the car and I won't hurt you, the last fucking thing you do is get in the car. So when my husband says, do this stuff and I'll help make all this better, that's not true. That's an act of perfidy. He's trying to entice me to comply with the abuse so that he can then do worse things. So what happened 5 days ago, last Monday, actually, was I went to go, he's a lawyer. I don't even have access to legal fees. I had to learn the law. I had to file all these cases against him myself. I had to sue the judge. I had to file for divorce. And as I'm doing all of this, I went to one of the judges to file a letter to say that they weren't giving me my discovery. The clerk didn't want to take the letter. She then had the police come. I'm not joking. I have a video of this, but the police confiscated my phone. So as soon as I get it, I'll show you. They came up. They told me I had to leave. So I went to leave, but then I went to hand them a different form. And the police slammed me up against the wall. 2 6'2", 6'4" guys slammed me up against the wall.
Well, that's awful.
I was under arrest. And then they start screaming, stop resisting. I'm like, resisting?
Oh, no.
You've already got me in fucking handcuffs. They're like, stop resisting, stop resisting. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What is going on? They then chained me to a wall in the police station. They
Whoa.
kept me there for 4 hours. They won't let me speak to the lawyer. I have this all on the police camera. I'm like, may I speak to my lawyer? They're like, no.
Was this
Then the
LAPD?
judge comes in. They conspire with the judge back and forth over an hour. Then they come in and they say, you have to put on this mask. And I say, I can't medically tolerate a mask. I've been coming to the police almost every day to try and get help with the parental kidnapping, the domestic violence, all this other stuff that you aren't helping me with. I can't tolerate a mask. They come back and they say, okay, we're going to bring you to jail. And I was like, what the fuck are we talking about right now? What are we talking about? They take me to jail. They strip search me. They subject me to medical tests, body scans, swabs. They shackle me. They bring me down and they put me in solitary confinement for 5 fucking days. I can't get a phone call with my lawyer. Nobody will help me. Like the social work comes and I'm like, listen, I tell them what's going on. And they say, sorry, there's nothing we can do, but can I help you? I'm like, I'm in solitary confinement. I'm a Columbia University graduate that's never been in trouble with the law my whole life. I find out my husband has some unsavory things about him. And suddenly in his playground, which are the courts and the legal system, I'm now a common criminal.
Hold on, Lizzie. Kermit and Friends.
Hi, Elisa. This is Captain Motley. I have to know, does this girl live in New York? I must have her. I must have this girl.
Yes, she does.
She does?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Oh my God. My heart is pounding out of my chest.
Wow. So you're a fan of Lizzie.
Oh my God. She's my soulmate.
Do you want to promote anything, Lizzie, like an Instagram so he can follow?
If you, I've been documented everything. So if you go on my Instagram, it's Lizzie Harding 1. And if you go back to around April and May, that's when this real story starts. And you can follow it from the beginning. Every court hearing, the police are falsely arresting me. I would be parked in a parking lot and all of a sudden 2 police would pull up alongside of me and they'd be like, are you okay, ma'am? Do you need an ambulance? And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? This is police harassment. And they're like, no, it's not. We have a right to stop you and ask you if you need an ambulance. So what you have to understand is a narcissist tries to paint their victims as being crazy, mentally unstable, and it gives them a cover for their narcissism. Because if you're discredited, then they can go and live their life and do what they want, right? So my husband started doing this heavily in 2013. But back then, I started seeing this domestic violence counselor, and she knew what was going on. And she was like, do you think there's anything wrong with your husband? And I was like, no, I'm just loud and fun, and he's trying to quiet me. And then now when all this shit happened, and I got evicted, I got all my funds cut off, like all this fucking thing that should be illegal. But because the courts are doing it, it's technically called legal, but it's unlawful still. But you have to get a different judge to hold that judge in it's been insane. But what I want everybody to understand, what the story I think will speak to your audience, is that this level of narcissistic control is going on all around us. That is what we're experiencing with this COVID. Things don't make sense. What do you mean? Like I can wear a mask when I walk in the restaurant, but I sit down and take it off and poof, it goes away. There's a 10 o'clock curfew. Like at 9:59, the fucking virus is like, oh, now I can come out. Like, what are we talking about? This is all biological warfare, released for humanistic control to confuse you, to make you question your reality. And then you don't know what the fuck is going on. So you just comply. And we all have this innate thing about us where we think if we just comply with the bully, they'll leave us alone. But let me tell you, that's not what fucking happens. A guy puts a gun to your head and says, get in the car and I'm not going to hurt you. The last thing, you can get in the car if you want. You make your own decisions. I know if I get in that car, that guy's going to hurt me. Same thing here. Comply with the masks and we'll make this go away. Stay at home for 2 weeks to get our hospitals ready and all of this will go away. Our compliance has led to more and more punishment. We are all, as a human society, not even in the US, across the world, being subjected to narcissistic abuse. And we're complying, hoping that it'll make it go away. It's not fucking going away. It goes away when we stand up and realize we take our power back.
Tell her to slow her roll. That no, but listen to me. I agree with every fucking thing you were saying, and I'm not kidding. It's happening.
I hear you.
No, but Lizzie, if Andy has a narcissist in the next room, what should his course of action be?
Great question. The first thing everybody needs to do is educate yourself about narcissism. Educate yourself so that you can spot it. The one thing that they want from you is fear. When they get fear, they capitalize on that. They need that energy. It's almost like an energy, a soul exchange. Okay, they need to keep you in your state of fear. This COVID.
And
Actually, listen to her. She speaks a lot of sense.
I know she's saying the same thing over and over, and I'm trying to.
See, that's.
See my.
Oh, you go ahead. You go ahead.
William, you know what? You guys talk amongst yourselves. I'm going to go.
But think about this. Okay.
Come on.
Hey, think about this. You go into a store, you have to have a mask. But then that mask, you see, you're told not to touch your eyes, nose, and mouth. What are you doing? Oh my God, what are we doing here? And then you're touching. Let's see, the people at the factory touch the stuff, and basically, it's not even airborne. It's lung and the stomach, the pancreas. So okay, now you have people at the factory touching stuff, loading it up. Then you're unloading up the truck, and then those people are stacking it on the shelf. And then that person might not want it. They put it back, or they drop it on the floor and put it back. And then it comes about, oh wait, you got go back, so you're touching it. And then you got people hacking and sneezing on. Then we're told to sneeze in our shoulder, but then we can't handshake, but we're supposed to touch shoulders. But then you got people using the bathroom, don't wash their hands, and I know employees that don't even wash their hands after they take a crap. But then obviously, we got to put plastic on the
1 second, I'm
debit
getting
machine.
hold on, Corey. I'm getting a call from the United Kingdom. Kermit and Friends. Wait. Kermit and Friends.
Hello. How you doing? Is Andy there?
Yeah, Andy's here. Who's this?
I'm an old friend. We hooked up in the UK it must be 10 years ago now.
Okay, what's your name, sir?
My name's James. I'd just like to say hello. I just wondered whether he remembered me.
Oh, if he remembers you. He's actually, I don't know where he is right now, but he didn't remember my friend Brandon, who he went on 3 dates with, so I don't think he'd remember you, but I'll ask him. What's your name, sir?
James, it's a wild time, you know? It's a wild time.
Okay, let me ask him. He's actually back.
Well, first of all, I haven't been in England in 30 years.
30 years.
Maybe more.
More than 30 years. Okay, all right. So he doesn't remember you. Sorry, guy. Sugar.
I don't remember him. It's lying.
I've met Andy before. You don't remember though. I met you at the Burgundy Room when DJ Coyote Shivers was playing.
Okay, 1 second, guys. Kermit and Friends.
Hello.
Yes.
I have a question for Lizzie.
Lizzie. Okay. What's your question for Lizzie? Hold on, Andy.
Why is her forehead so fucking massive?
Okay, all right. I don't like you. No, I don't like people like that that are just like stupid. Like Lizzie's a gorgeous person, obviously.
Lizzie has trauma, and we need to help Lizzie heal.
So how do we help Lizzie? Because
How do we help you, Lizzie?
Well, I think the first and foremost thing that we've got to realize is that we have to educate ourselves. We are all responsible for our emotional well-being. Okay?
Is this helping you to help other people?
Because
Does
the
that
more
heal
people
you?
that are educated about narcissistic abuse, the more people that can stop it, that can turn away
Great
from it,
question.
that won't feed into it. One of the biggest powers of narcissists is trying to destroy the reputation of their victims by sheer lies. Like just saying, and it's called the Martha Mitchell effect. Martha Mitchell was married, I believe, to the U.S. Attorney General during the time of Watergate. And she was this like happy Southern drunk woman. Not drunk, but like she liked to have a couple cocktails at night. So at night, she would have a drink and she would call local newscasters and be like, hey, do you want to know what's really happening in politics? So people in politics hated her, but the American people loved her, right? And she was one of the first people to bring about Watergate, and nobody believed her. And so what they did was they kidnapped her. They brought her to Silver Hill, and they basically said, no, she's just crazy. So then she told everybody the story of what was going on. And then it turned out, and everybody just defined her as crazy. Then it turned out weeks later, it was all true. So the Martha Mitchell effect is when a narcissist or anybody comes to you and just says what you're saying because they're trying to hide. So they just call you crazy. And then people just count you as crazy because your story is so incredible. They'll just call you crazy, and then that's it. they get away with their crimes.
That's
That's
a good point.
That's the worst, Lizzie. Lizzie, one time I was in college at a community college, and I picked a fight with a kung fu master in town, and everybody found out about it. And then I was in karate class, and cops literally came to my orchestra class and pulled me out of class, told me that they were going to rape me and beat me up in the middle of my campus. And I had to literally leave the Valley and go to Santa Monica College. I hung out with the mayor of Santa Monica. I hung out on student government. I got an associate's degree. Yeah, sometimes they have something to prove, but my heart does go out to the LAPD because, they put on that badge and they essentially sign their life away that they can be killed at any time, at any place. And some people don't understand what they're signing when they become a cop at a place like LA. Some people do. And I know there's a lot of good cops in LA, but I'm sorry to hear about that for you, Lizzie. You deserve better than that, and I'm going to pray for you. I'm Eric Rigg, by the way.
Pray. Amen.
Eric is the most amazing guy. I love Eric. I used to work with Eric at my old company, and he's always been so fantastic, and I just love him so much. And Super Tramp, I wanted to put you on with Brandon today.
I know. You know what else got me? I didn't know that I was competing against Andy Dick.
I know. He's a hard person to compete with, but I do want to play a clip. Even though Brandon is not here, I have a clip of you. Let me see if I can find that clip.
Oh, great goodness.
Let's see if I can find that clip. Oh my gosh. I have 100 clips here. Oh, here it is. Okay, here's a clip of Super Tramp talking to someone named Cuban Boy about Brandon, who's supposed to do our political commentary today, but he is not here.
Yeah.
Hey, Super Tramp.
What's up, Cuban?
Super Tramp.
Yeah.
How's it going with oh my God. How's it going with Brandon?
It's I don't know. I can't I gotta talk to him on Sunday. I can't get I don't have a way to get a hold of him really. I just kinda got a way to get a hold of him today because
No. Hey, Super. Brandon lives in Beverly Hills, right?
That's right.
Well, don't get your feelings hurt from that person.
Okay, so
I actually don't agree with that guy, Cuban Boy, about that.
Either.
Just because you're in Minnesota and Brandon's in Beverly Hills, I actually like that. I think it could be good for you guys to date. He is not here. Quigley and Brandon, I'm very upset with both of you today. Quigley booked me Lizzie and Andy, and I hope they're both regular guests here because I think especially Lizzie here can help women because I dated this guy that was a huge narcissist and he ruined my life and I'm just getting my life back. And it takes a while to get your life back after dealing with a narcissist. Sugar, do you agree with Lizzie and myself?
Yes, but at what point does personal responsibility come in? We are not leaves in the wind. And Lizzie, you're so strong. And I have just my heart goes out to you. I feel your trauma. And I have to ask you to, even if it doesn't help you, to help other people. How long did you date this guy? How did he get you?
No, I've been married to him. We have 3 children. He's a partner at a law firm. I went to Columbia.
I didn't ask you that. I asked you how long before you married him did you date him?
Oh, sorry. Okay. We were dating for 2 years, got engaged, and then engaged for a year to married. A total of 3.
3 years?
3 years before we got married, yeah. And there are always red flags. Again, 2020 hindsight. You can go back and you can put it all together. But if you're like me, I'm an internal optimist. And so I always look for the good in people. So when you see a red flag, you tend to try and make it make sense in your brain, right? You give a reason. And that's why education about narcissism is the strongest thing that you can do, because then you can help to spot it and then take responsibility for how you respond to it.
Yeah, it's hard to come up with the right response. Yes. When you're dealing with someone like that.
Right.
How do you come up with a proper response? I had a guy, you mentioned love bombing. That's when somebody comes up really strong at first, kind of to capture you. And then once they have you, then they can treat you however they want.
Exactly.
You're already addicted to that person.
Yep.
And it's hard to let them go.
And you think that that's the real person, and the abuse that you're suffering, you're just trying to always get back to that real person that you just met, the one that, but you don't realize that that was the mask. That's the facade. So you spend your whole life trying to get back to something that they never were, right? And so that's the first thing. And love bombing doesn't always happen in the beginning. It also happens right towards the end when you realize that it's dangerous and you go to get out. They love bomb you again. So then you're like, oh no, it was a mistake. Let me try it again. Let's get back into this. And it keeps a cycle going. And so when you educate yourself about this, and there, if you go on, so my Instagram is Lizzie Harding, but there's this woman, Elisa, Alizeck. She's amazing. And she actually got really caught up in this, where her husband had her put away in psychiatric institutes. She tried to commit suicide. I mean, she went through the ringer. And then when she realized, because you have an inappropriate attribution of the problem, right? You're constantly trying to fix something about you. You don't realize that that fucking guy is just making lies about you the whole time, or trying to, fuck with you. So as soon as you realize that they're the problem, then you can fix your world. But until you don't know what the problem is, it doesn't matter how many things you change, you're never going to get better.
So Lizzie, how do you get your life back when someone has taken it from you?
Yeah.
Because these narcissists, they try to take your life from you. That's what I've felt.
Yeah.
And then when that's over, there still is like an empty place inside. Like for me, I feel like there was the guy that came into my life. I name him Octopus, but he's a real guy. He's a real guy. And he came into my life.
That's an insult to Octopus, by the way, because they are amazing, intelligent, spatial creatures. So.
Yeah, no, he was amazing, but he came into my life. He definitely love bombed me, and he got me addicted to him, and then he left. And now I'm just like, do you ever miss your husband, even though he wasn't good to you and he was wrong for you?
Well, what's interesting is the time, that's how I stayed in the relationship, because I valued him more than my own. Right? He went to Yale. He's a Davis Polk partner. He was a Duke AB scholar. I was like, oh, this guy is like the end all be all. I went to Columbia. Right. I'm not a fucking moron, but still, I valued him more than myself. The real healing comes in when you actually don't look for outside validation. When you get outside validation, let's be honest, it's awesome. You get extra viewers. You get more likes. It's great. But we should want it. But when we need it, when we need that outside validation in our life to feel valued ourselves, that's when we become victims of narcissism, because they can spot that right away, and then it feeds the cycle. But when you are strong in your self-worth and in your value, and you don't fucking give that up to anybody, like when I was in solitary confinement, this literally was my mantra. Everything's
I dig this girl. She has common sense. She's not common core. She's actually common sense. She actually has real true values.
Thank you.
She's not a sheeple. She's not stupid. She's not a libtard.
So you like her, Corey?
Yeah, it's just too bad she's married. I mean, well, good for him, a lucky guy. But...
Well, you can keep in touch with her. Maybe you can be friends.
Well, maybe she'll join the Wrap Up show.
Yeah, so Corey, in case you're new here, if you're a new person here, if you're not familiar with Corey, I have some audio on you. Let me tell you.
I can go.
So here is a person named is Cuban Boy again, Wendy's friend. So Wendy has a best friend named Cuban Boy, and here's some audio of him discussing Corey here.
Nobody who looks like Corey is single unless you're a give me a break. I mean, he's not like the fucking a 10 out of 10 or nothing. But anybody, I'm sorry, it's a #1 giveaway. To be a good-looking guy, 45 years old, with no kids and no wife, yeah, you're straight. Okay. And everybody on here knows that. Come on. And I don't care. And You can attack me all you want. Attack me all you want. My situation's a little bit different, and if I'm wrong about Corey, I'll be the first to apologize. The dude has a bird. The dude talks about Burt Reynolds in Playgirl. Okay? Need I say any more? No, please. I want to hear responses.
So
that was pretty funny.
So Cuban Boy, he's criticized your bird, that you live alone, that you're not married, that you don't have any kids. I get criticized for that same thing.
But what's the point of it? My feelings are so hurt now. Oh my gosh, golly gee whiz.
Yeah, so I went on something called Killstream. It's a podcast. It's an alt-right podcast to promote this show, Kermit and Friends. And so I went on this alt-right podcast, and then they said the same thing to me that they said to you. Listen to this, Corey.
Oh, this was one of the failed kid from your writer at the fucking Howard Stern show. He wait a minute. Reported it because he didn't want to have a fucking baby with you because you're a fucking miserable person.
My life.
Yeah, good. You never will.
Yeah,
that's why I'm making it and you're not. I don't know, kids, a happy family, something you'll never be able to do.
Okay.
All right.
So Corey, do you want kids? Do you want marriage? Do you want your life to change? Do you like your life the way it is?
Nice to meet that someone, but I accepted reality a long time ago. It's not going to happen.
Really?
Yeah, I was hoping by the time I was 25, 27, meet that one person, have a couple of kids, but late bloomer. But yeah, I mean, I don't have any issues facing reality. And it still could happen. I'm not putting it out. I'm not putting it out the door, but just face reality here.
No, but you got to put yourself out there, Corey. Like you're saying that Lizzie is your style or your type. You have to put yourself out there. Like Supertramp here, he was kind of rejected by my neighbor Brandon. Oh wait, hold on.
I said I agree with her in her comments and her thoughts that she's common sense, not.
Okay, one second. Corey, one second. Corey, hold on. Kermit and Friends.
Yeah, Lisa, this is Balzac Entertainment.
Okay.
I tried to get on the show, but I tried to call you. I have some questions for you, Elisa.
Okay.
Do you like in this? Do you like security routine, or are you attracted to chaos? Like the Howard Stern show, like your show, there's a lot of people talking at the same time. I love the chaos, but do you like security or routine?
That's a good question. Okay, so I'll answer that question. What's your name, sir?
This is Balzac Entertainment.
Balzac?
Yes.
Balzac Entertainment. Okay, do you want me to just answer that, or do you have more questions for me?
Yeah, just answer that. I have some more questions, actually.
Okay, sure. I'll keep you on the line. Okay, so do I like chaos? Great question. So before this, I was working for a gold and silver dealer in Beverly Hills, a normal job. Nobody knew about my time on the Howard Stern show. Nobody knew about my band or anything I'd done. They just looked at me as someone, like a broker, somebody in sales, and that's it. And I was fine with that at the time. There was no chaos. It was just normal, every day, the same thing. But inside, I had a feeling that I could do something in my life that was more. I could connect with people more. I knew I had it inside somewhere, that I had creativity, and I just didn't know how to express it. This year has been very rough. I lost my dog, Kermit. I lost 2 grandparents. I lost that job. And I was just really dark. I was almost suicidal, Balzac. And the only thing that was there for me was I was inspired to do this show, to connect with people and bring the spirit of my dog Kermit back. Okay. And I didn't want people to forget her name. And I wanted the name Kermit to be said over and over and over because she was just so special to me and such an inspiration to me. So chaos, I feel like chaos, do I enjoy it? Yeah, I kind of do enjoy it. I like it. That's part of life, right? I mean, we get in fights with people. Not every relationship is perfect. I'm not pretending to be perfect. I'm the opposite of perfect. I am fucked up, okay? I am. And that's why at a certain point, I was looking towards religion, spirituality. I was looking at self-help books. I was just looking at everything because I needed help. I know that I'm capable of a lot in this lifetime, and I wasn't doing it before. I was just kind of conforming. I was putting myself in a box just to be a regular person with health insurance. But now I see my life could end and this world could end tomorrow. I wouldn't be surprised. That would not surprise me. So if this world ends tomorrow, I don't want my last day to be on the phone selling something. I want it to be connecting with people and helping people and having a guest like Lizzie talk about how she can help women. That feels like my purpose.
Elisa, you may be fucked up, but you have a beautiful voice. But if you get laryngitis, you're useless. Then you can't do the show. How did you develop this beautiful singing voice?
I don't think I have that great of a voice. I think that's not my biggest talent, but I appreciate you saying that. Do you have a question for Andy? I have him back. He's back.
Andy, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
A lot of times when people don't like something, it's like confirmation bias. People jump to conclusions. Do you feel that people have treated you negatively for no particular reason?
Great question. Thanks for calling. And did you hear that, Andy? He was asking if you've been treated wrongly.
I heard. Let's just see the time we're taking now. We're taking more time just for me to be angry than for you to repeat the question, which you did. I heard him. Let's talk about that more. So your thing is glitching up. Did you ask your fans if it's glitching up for them? Because it's really bad on my end.
It's not for them.
It's kind of.
I'll send you a link after so you can watch the whole thing back and then you can give me your thoughts. But
I'm not.
You're not watching it? Okay.
I don't watch any of my stuff. It's not about you. You are so pretty. You do a great job. You have had amazing guests. Lizzie. Now I forgot the question.
Oh, I also have the same question for you. I was curious about you.
Yes,
too.
I remember it. Do people? Okay. Yes, but he said, are there reasons? But there are. A lot of times, like I'm a little manic. I'm sure people would say a lot manic.
Right.
I'm very. I call it passionate. By the way, I'm passionate and excitable, like the Warren Zevon song. He was just an excitable boy, but that's not a good example because he wound up shooting people in that song. But I'm never going to do that. But people, yes, they do. What I loved about Lizzie, man, and she was fucking spot on everything she said.
Mm-hmm.
Or they really, like every day I think.
And I was just getting warmed up when I was going on.
Please don't. I don't need it anymore. But the thing is,
hey Andy, Dick, glad to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Yeah, nice to meet you. The thing is that every am I fucking crazy, and it can lead you to suicide. It's like, well, if the world ain't buying what I'm selling or they don't like what I'm up to, why am I here? But it's what Lizzie said. They're in control and keep you in fear. And I was trying to point that out.
Yeah, it's all about Chicon takeover and fear and making the American bow down on their knees.
Talk over each other.
But I do got a question when we get
middle of, and can I?
I'm gonna let you finish. Yeah, you go ahead.
You will.
Yeah,
I'm fucking at. God damn! I can't do this again. This Zoom shit. I can't do it. It's just so frustrating, and I'm already frustrated. I wake up frustrated.
Really? Me too.
Yeah. Don't you?
Yeah. I'm not happy. That's why I'm doing this. I'm trying to get some happiness for myself again. I lost all hope.
Good. Well, you are doing great, and I feel like I'm doing a lot better too. Ben, I'm not doing great. I'm far from it. But Lizzie, I can't believe what she was. It was like It's almost like she was reading my mind. She knows how my life has been. And then I was looking back and I'm like, all of my relationships were like that. They were nepotistic fucking fuck farts that really, really had me down. They had me under their thumb, just trying to control me, keep me in fear, and keep me thinking, oh, there is something wrong with me, isn't there? That's why I keep getting shoved into rehabs 27 times. Because, you know, most people aren't like me and they're not like you. We're excitable, happy, just like Lizzie said, or you even said it. Is there a problem being really super happy and then, you know, crying because your dog died? No. It's called human nature. What I don't like is that those people aren't in touch with themselves. I happen to be, and I express it. And that's why I get hired all the time as an actor, because I can pull from any of these things because I lay them out on the table. Everything's above boards with me, everything. And that gets me in trouble. And to answer that guy's question, yeah, that's the kind of thing I think about that. I'm like, wow, it's because I told my truth and I just expressed myself. I'm in trouble. I'm bad. I'm crazy. I'm going to jail. Like, what? Really? Like that thing that happened with her where they put her in jail, voluntary confinement. That's fucking bullshit, by the way. That happens every time I go. It's something that's like they're lying. And all these lawsuits I have, sometimes there's a little truth. Some of them are just downright true. But like a lot of them are people just lying. And at this point, and this is the sucky part for me, nobody believes me. I could never fucking win. If there's somebody that says something about me, I'm like, what else are you going to say and lie about? Because no one believes me. And it sucks. So yeah, that answers his question.
That must be so frustrating when you know what the truth is and people paint a picture of you. I get really upset about that too. There was a guy that I really loved that I wanted to marry named Benji, and people would say, oh, you're using him to get on the Stern show. You're using him for money. And I really love this guy, and it made me feel horrible that people viewed me like that. And I couldn't change their opinion of me no matter what I did. If I was with him for 10 years or 8 years or we lived together, it wouldn't change it. So sometimes you just have to accept, Andy, that people are just going to look at you. That's like Jesus, the story of Jesus. You think about what Jesus went through, right? I mean, that's kind of what we have to do in this life. Let's not
compare ourselves to Jesus. But the thing is that if I can stop you for a second, see, light and ask, can I stop you? Everyone just chimes in and starts. You gotta like keep those people on. You gotta have a tight rein on these guests. But your guests,
your fans.
Lizzie is the best. But God, now I don't remember what I was going to say.
You said we're not like Jesus, but in a way, I think we are like Jesus. We have to go through a lot of shit in this life that we don't want to go through. We get abused.
Oh, that's what I was going to say. She was saying, you were asking her, well, what do you do? What do you do? Here's what you do. You get rid of the motherfucker. You get rid of the person who's fucking you and abusing you. As soon as you realize, even if it's for a split second, wait a minute, I'm not crazy and I was just expressing myself, or that's just how I am. And you can tell that they're really trying to make you feel like you're a nut job. Just get rid of them, because you're not and I'm not. We're just normal people. We just are very hyperactive.
It's a good point. All right, I have a poem. So Supertramp, that poem that you wrote for Brandon, can you say that poem to Andy? Because Brandon's not here.
I think I could. Well, I can't really make it work for Andy, but I can maybe I can make it work for Andy.
Okay, great.
I will read it to Andy, like you are Brandon.
Let me hear. I can hear you now. Now wait a minute. I was like right over there doing like cleaning my room a little bit while I was listening to you. Did you say that you were dating Brandon?
I am not dating Brandon. I would like to date Brandon. So you and I are like, we're at war, buddy.
Not my phone. I think it has something to do with when you guys have headphones, because it's just not working. I can't hear him.
Okay.
Maybe you could just say your poem for Andy, and maybe he'll hear you later.
I'll say my poem, and maybe he'll read it later.
Okay, perfect.
I used to like chorizo till I found out it contained pig salivary glands. You are a lot like chorizo. I built a tiny house in the woods with my bare hands, cut wood with the fucking chainsaw. I was Grizzly Adams minus the bear. You should have taken your sold sign and planted it in my yard. Don't play your microphone is on mute game with me. I am a lumberjack that spent the night in a teepee at 30 below, and I fuck like a rock star. My name is Supertramp, and I say that with pride. Shout out to the chat. You say we're 20 states away, but this is Kermit and Friends, where chorizo is steak, and I fucking love steak.
Me too. Hey, John, do you have a song for Kermit and Friends and Andy here?
Oh no, I wanted to get on and talk to Andy just a quick second. No real question. Just want to tell him I'm a fan. Some of Andy's antics over the years are pretty legendary. When he's a pretty wild person. It's just an honor to meet somebody. There we go. I want to say, Andy, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can, because you're not using headphones.
I wanted to say, now that you're here, it's an honor to meet you. And I said your antics over the past are legendary.
Yeah.
I've heard you on Howard a dozen times and so anyways. Yeah. And it's just an honor to meet someone of you. I bow to your greatness, my friend. Peace and love. Peace and love. It's just an honor to be on here with someone of your stature.
Oh, that's
may we say.
Amazing. Isn't that nice to hear, Andy? That's got to feel good.
That made my week, actually. That was so sweet. What a nice man.
What a nice guy. I love that guy. That's John. And
tell him, I'm not kidding. Can you ask your fans if they can hear? Is it my phone?
You know, sometimes it's like, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, but you sound great. And then I want to take one more question for you.
Guy, though, I love you.
You gotta go.
Love that guy. Well, just I love him.
Okay, I'll tell him you love him.
I hope I get to meet up with him. If he's ever in LA, I'll take him to dinner or coffee.
All right, great, perfect. Thank you so much, Andy. Is there anything that you want to promote that you have coming up?
There's a bunch of things. I don't care. What I really care about is how many. I'm gonna cry about it. How many friends I made on this show. There's such cool people. You have really cool people. You're cool. I'm sorry I'm so aggro. I just wake up aggro. I have a lot of shit going on. It has nothing. It's not personal to you guys. It's the technical shit. Can't hear it. And my own personal shit going on that she fucking nailed. Lizzie did. I can't believe it. And he can hear us. That was freaking me out. He can hear. It's a guy. Whip-de-doo, whatever.
Well, I'm so happy that you like the people here. After this show, there's going to be a wrap-up show. Corey hosts the wrap-up show with Wendy. Corey, are you going to be talking about Andy on the wrap-up show?
Andy, I got one question, though. I'm not sure how you're going to feel about it. I don't mean to push buttons here. But how was your, on Battle Cam, your experience, the whole thing with Croftman and the thing with the orange suits and Elkie David himself? What's your opinion of him?
I think he might have left. I don't know. You can ask him later, maybe. Yeah,
yeah, because I used to see him on there, and I was a big thing on there when it was going, but it's on the mainstream though. I never did anything for Elkie David like he did, but I just wanted his opinion and what he thought of Elkie David, because I think Elkie David's a freaking billionaire jerk. He's a fucking. I'm sorry, my language, but when I get going on him, he's like, he's a pervert. He's a sick son of a.
I can hear him now. What's he saying? Who's he talking about?
I'm asking you what's your experience with Elkie David and being on Battle Cam and being the jump shoots like with Croftman and well, what's the guy, the heavy guy with the curls, with the donut necklace?
I don't remember his name, but it's weird that you bring up Elkie because I call him the eccentric billionaire. He happens to be a very, very good. I left the water on. Hang on a second. He happens to be a very, very good friend of mine.
You need to give Andy a T-shirt.
But I can't.
Ah, good idea.
Yeah, let's see if he wants one. Andy, we want to send you a Kermitarian T-shirt.
I can't hear her.
She wants to send you a t-shirt, Andy, because you've been such a great guest today. We appreciate you so much.
Oh, she probably has the earbuds. You know, you should tell people not to use those, maybe.
Yeah, maybe that is a good idea. We're always changing on this show. We're always trying to be better. And you really helped our show today, Andy. So thank you so much for coming on. I just really appreciate you.
I'm so sorry. I should record it so you can hear it. I'm sure people that have the same problem. There must be. But wait, about Elkie. He's a good friend of mine. But I'm not saying I don't disagree with what that man said. But he's so fucking loaded that he's actually helped me out a lot. When I was on, he started a network called Film On. He still has it. He would pay me every week to do a show there, and I was very, very grateful. He buttered my toast, so to speak, for a while, for years. And you know, down deep, he is like me. He has had troubles with things and substances. But he's doing great now and has been for a very, very long time. And he's actually a good person down deep, you know. But I know what the guy's saying. The guy who was just on. I know what I know, and I'm not saying I don't necessarily disagree, but he must have had a bad experience.
And are you feeling, pretty hopeful in your life? Are you feeling like things are going to go great for you? Are you scared?
One of the reasons is you know, one of them. There's not that many. There's a handful, maybe, a little more than a handful, like 7 different things going. You want me to promote a couple things. So I'm doing Tiger Dick, which is this weird, it's like what I was talking about when I go on stage and I kind of flip people on their ear and they don't know what's going on. You're like, what am I watching? What is this? What's going on? I'm doing a show. We already did 3 episodes. We might just condense them all into one thing where I play Joe Exotic. Sorry about that.
That sounds good.
And I have to go. I didn't know how late it is. It's church time. Friends here for church.
Okay, great. Okay, have fun at church, Andy. Thank you so much for joining us on Kermit and Friends. I really appreciate it.
Agro, thank you. And tell all your guests they're phenomenal people, and I love them all. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. What a great guy. I just love him. Niall, what a great guest, right? I can't hear you, Niall. I think you're muted.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, perfectly. What do you think of Andy?
He's funny. He's great. He is great.
Yeah, he's a great guy. I hope you work with him. Do you think that could happen?
We'll definitely follow up on that at your beck and call.
Awesome. And I hope you become a regular here. Did you enjoy your experience on Kermit and Friends, your first time?
I loved it. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. And I appreciate you inviting me on, and I hope to meet you and work with you.
Sounds great. Thank you guys for watching Kermit and Friends. It's been a great show. We had Niall, we had Lizzie, we had Andy, and all our friends that are always here, our reoccurring characters like Sugar. Oh, I'm getting a call, but I'm not going to answer it because I'd like to play, just in the spirit of Lizzie and what she's been going through. I had a really rough time this year. I went through a very bad and hard breakup that just left me destroyed. It left me pretty destroyed. And what I have to say to everybody is the only thing that's helped me out of that pain is starting my Kermit and Friends again, really. And that's just the truth. And so if you are going through a hard time, I think the best thing is to use creativity and to pray and to connect with others. That's what I've done, and that's what's worked for me. So if you need help with that and you feel like you have nowhere to turn, if you feel like you've been hurt and your life sucks and you don't have any hope and you just don't know what to do, that was me a couple months ago. And I'm not exaggerating at all. I was very, very, very down. And Kermit and Friends has really given me purpose and a reason to live. And I'm really not exaggerating, and I'm telling you the truth, and it's helped me so much. So thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Johnny and Corey and Supertramp and Wendy and Lizzie and everybody that's involved here. Quigley, I'm so sorry if you're upset with me right now. You are valuable to Kermit and Friends. I will always feel that way. And I'll see you next week. Hopefully we can work it out and you can be a big part of the show. And God bless everyone here. was in traffic. I couldn't hear it when the earthquake happened. It really got me thinking, were you out drinking or were you just at home sitting there watching television? It's been a year now. I figured out how to let you go and let communication die out. I know, you know, we weren't meant for each other and it's fine. I know, you know, we know you weren't here for forever and it's fine. But if the world were ending, you come over, right? You come over and you'd hold me tight. Would you love me for the hell of it? All our fears would be irrelevant. If the world was ending, you'd come over, right? You come over and you'd say the night, and there wouldn't be a reason why we would even have to say goodbye. If the world was ending, you'd come over, right? Right. You come over, right? If the world was ending, you come over, right? You come over and you'd hold me tight. Could you love me for the hell of it? All our fears could be irrelevant. If the world was ending, you come over, right? Right. You come over, right? If the world was ending, you come over, right? You come over and you'd hold me tight, and there wouldn't be a reason why we'd even have to say goodbye. If the world was ending, you come over, right? You come over, right?